Hey everybody, what's going on? I wanted to make a video about free-to-play efficiency. It occurred to me that again, while this game is pretty new, we have a lot of players who have not played other games like this before and maybe don't have a ton of experience. And there are some things that I think newer players may think about doing certain things that may be skewed a little bit, may not be the most efficient thing. For example, when I first came to these games and games wanted me to pay my gems for energy refills, I was like, no, you're crazy. I'm not doing that. I'm going to use them on the summons and all the other stuff. I didn't understand that energy refills were going to be the way to go. So I thought I would just mention a few things that you can incorporate into your routine that might help you moving forward. So next time there's a fusion event, next time there's some event that has good rewards, it's going to set you up in a position where you're much more likely to be able to complete it, right? So it's not going to be super deep. I'm not going to dive way into the science and maximize your energy refills this way and pop an XP boost here. It's not going to be super scientific and analytical. I'm just going to give you some ideas of things that you can do that maybe shift your gameplay a little bit that help you moving forward. So the first one that I want to say is don't do these. Do not spend your gems on shards. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, about when to do it and the mindset on doing it. But generally, don't let saving up gems, don't let this be the goal for saving up your gems. This is not a good use of your gems. And this would be one example where we do a little bit of math. But if you buy one of these packs, that's 900 gems, okay? That's 22 and a half energy refills, which comes out to, if you're at max energy, which is 130, which comes out to 2,925 energy. So you're sacrificing almost 3,000 energy for 11 blue shards that, let's be honest, most of us are going to pull 11 rares from it. That's just the way it goes. It's much more efficient to put that energy into the game. Okay? So now, if you're a newer player and you want to summon a little bit to expand your champ pool, fine, do it occasionally. And if you're playing the game, then occasionally, yeah, it's nice to try your luck and pop some shards, keep your sanity, have some fun. It shouldn't always be sacrificing everything for the sake of your enjoyment, right? If you like to summon and you want to make the roll, I don't know what just happened in my eye there. Then do it occasionally. But keep in mind that the more often you do it, the less efficient you're being, the more energy you're wasting. That's a lot of energy that you could put into the game. That's a lot of energy that's going to do a lot of other things for you instead of probably getting 11 rares, okay? So keep that in mind. That's probably the number one biggest thing that I think players could be doing that would catapult their progression. I mean, that's so much energy that you could be doing other things with, leveling up food, farming gear, doing all kinds of things. So don't buy the shard packs. Don't make it a habit of regularly buying the shard packs. Use your gems on refills. Beyond that, always do your daily, weekly, and monthly quest. There's a decent bit of energy in here. You get one daily for fighting in the arena 5 times. You get one energy refill for that. And then I think you get 2 weekly, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember honestly how many you get. I think you get 1 or 2 weekly, and then I know you get like 400 energy total in here. You get it from fighting in the arena, and then you get it for leveling up the artifact to 2 artifacts to level 16. But so 400 energy in a month. Not a bunch, but do it. Do it anyways. But particularly make sure you do your dailies every day. Get your gems. Get your energy from the fighting in the arena. Get your other stuff, okay? Very useful, very handy. And as well as your playtime reward. Make sure you're in here for an hour a day to get this other energy refill. That's 2 energy refills you're getting from playtime rewards and daily missions. And do I think there should be more? Absolutely. I definitely think that you should be getting a little bit more energy every day. But that's the way it is for now, so you got to take what you can get, right? It is better than nothing. It's 2 full refills. So you want to make sure you get them. You want to make sure you put them to use. Now, there is something to be said for energy efficiency. I don't focus on it too hard, but if you've ever seen Chosen talk about it, he's kind of obsessed with efficiency in the way that you'll never see his energy full. He's always accumulating energy from the time. It refills a little bit every few minutes. He's always recovering energy. He won't go over the cap. And it is very efficient. It's a great thing to do. I don't focus so hard on it. I don't have an interest in focusing that hard on it, but there's certainly something to it. So if I would go watch a couple of Chosen videos and see if you can find where he talks about it. I know in his episode of Chosen's Corner that he did with Kizzle, he talks about it a little bit. And there's definitely something to be said for that. So if you want to get down to it and get really efficient, I would go listen to him talk about that. I don't have that to offer. I don't focus on it too hard. But it is a great idea. So I would try to do that. Next up, we're going to talk about keeping a copy of every champion you pull. Now this is a struggle. This is a struggle for me. This is a struggle for a lot of players. And I think maybe there's a lot of players that still don't know this. So I'm going to touch on a couple of the basics about this, and then I'm going to go into detail on why this is important. First of all, don't ever feed an epic. Don't ever feed a purple border or a gold border, okay? Never feed them. The only times you could think about feeding them would be if you've already got a duplicate and it's not someone you're using, which is still not the most recommended thing, but then it's acceptable. Or if you've got copies of a champ and you want to use them for skill ups for that champ, okay? Beyond that, definitely always keep a copy of every legendary and every epic, whether you're going to use them or not. Beyond that, it's a really good idea to do it with rares, to keep a copy of every single rare. Treat void rares just like you treat epics and legendaries, okay? Because you never know when they're going to get buffed, when something's going to change, when you might need them for a fusion event, anything like that. And it's a lot less likely you're going to see these again than other rares. Even though there's a lot more rares, you pop a lot less void shards. So definitely keep a copy, at least one copy of every void rare you get. But beyond that, down here, we've got some other rares, okay? The reason that this is so important is, one, because, again, you never know when someone's going to get buffed, when something's going to change, and someone becomes useful, and you're going to wish you had them. A really close second to this is fusion events. When they release these fusion events, there's generally a collection of 12 rares that we need to work our way through the fusion, right? You've got the legendary, you've got the 4 epics, and then usually 3 of them can be fused, and that's 12 rares. So the more rares you keep on hand, the more individual unique rares that you keep on hand, the more likely you are to have everything you need when that event drops. So then all you need to focus on is getting that food ready rather than hunting that food, because hunting the food in these fusion events is the worst part. It is the part that consumes all your energy. It is the part that a lot of players are going to struggle with, and it is the reason that a lot of players are not going to do it, because the drop rates are just not there yet. Now this Harvest Jack event, drastically improved, definitely doable free to play, barring some bad luck. I would say the next thing to tweak would be just increase the drop rates a little bit from the champs that you get from the dungeons. It's just, I and a lot of other players are spending too much energy in there trying to get those champs to just drop, and then we still have to build them up. So that would be my next suggestion for a tweak in the direction of kind of perfecting the way these events are set up, because, again, they're supposed to be hard, but they're supposed to be doable too, I think. So you can kind of step over that at the beginning of the next fusion event if you make it a habit of keeping every champ that you pull, keeping up. And it's going to get hard. You're going to pull someone you want a 6-star, you're going to get sick of making food, you're going to be out of energy, and you're going to have all this stuff sitting in your vault, and you're going to think, I could just knock this out real quick. I've done it. I'm bad about it. Sometimes I get impatient. A lot of other people are bad about it, but it is the right answer. So just know, you do whatever you are okay with doing, but the right answer, keep a copy of every champ you pull for situations like that moving forward. Next thing on the list is save your brews. Don't just casually use your brews, okay? Just let them build up. Just level up your champs in the campaign, or feed them 1-stars, you know what I mean? But if you let the brews save up, you're going to be sitting real pretty when the events that require you to level up champs in the tavern come out. The more brews you have, the faster you're going to be able to breeze through that event. Now, as you can see, we just had one, and I burned through all my brews, so they're slowly building back up. But I don't use them for anything except those events now. Sure, it's a little bit faster initially, but it's really not that bad to just take your champs into the campaign and level them up. It's worse if you don't have a double XP. I think they should up the XP a little bit that you get from the campaign. However, it's still not that bad, and it's worth it when they drop the events where you need to do things in the tavern specifically to progress through the event, particularly during a fusion event. If you need to get through and get someone that you don't have, it's going to be real nice to have those brews on hand. So I would save brews. I would also recommend saving shards. This is another one that generally I'm not so great with. I would usually want to pop a shard when I get it. I can switch over into hoarding mode, and then it's real hard for me to not be in hoarding mode anymore, so I'll have, they'll just keep building up, and I'll be super hesitant to use them. So it kind of works both ways for me there. But saving shards is a great habit because they like to do the summon events as well as the ones in the fusion events as well. And then they also have been doing double race and stuff a lot lately. So you can save your shards and decide which one of those you want to participate in and participate in it, versus every time you get a shard you pop it hoping it's going to be that legendary. Generally it's a good idea to lower the expectations at least in my experience. But I would recommend saving that stuff. It is fun to summon, and if you want to come in and pop a couple occasionally, go for it. But it's kind of like popping your shards on gems. Just understand that the more you do it, the less efficient overall you're being. So it's important to keep your sanity. It's important to enjoy yourself. And sometimes you're going to get lucky and pop that legendary, right? But if we're speaking in terms of efficiency, saving them up for these events where it's nice to have a lot of shards is definitely going to benefit you. Because it's not only going to help you complete whatever the event is or whatever the thing is you need, there's a lot of other rewards in the events too to get, more energy, stuff like that. So generally a good idea to let that stuff build up. Next, actually, that brings us to events. Be picky about your events. Come in and look at these events and decide if it's worth what you're going to have to put into it. Generally speaking, the thought around events for a lot of players, and my experience in a lot of other games, is that events should end up being net positive. So if you have to come in and spend energy or whatever it is to do the event, you should come out with more than you had to spend, if that makes sense. Now, I kind of think maybe they should just change the terminology up on some of these. Some of these should be called challenges, because it feels different to call in an event. And again, in my and a lot of other players' experience with other games, lets me think like, oh, this is a thing that's supposed to be fun and interesting, and we're supposed to get some rewards we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Everything they put out that they call an event is like, good luck. Good luck finishing it. So maybe a simple terminology change would be nice there. But for something like this champion training event, where you're gonna want to get her, right? If you're trying to do the fusion, you're gonna want to get her. Thankfully, they gave us another way to get her from champion chase. So if you had even a good amount of green shards saved up, you could work your way up to her. But you come in and look at something like this, where you're not getting a ton of points for the things you're doing. If you 6-start a couple of champs, leveled them up, yeah, that's a good little burst. But you're definitely going to be using energy refills in here. You're going to be using a lot of your food. You're going to be using a lot of energy to come in here. So if you come in here and analyze these rewards, there's some silver, okay. There's a couple of 5-star artifacts, okay. Skill tome, 1 ancient shard, a champ you needed for the event, more 5-star gear, more silver, another shard. For what you're going to have to spend to even get here, unless you just get here by default, which is kind of what I did, leveling up food for the fusion and then feeding all the champs I was feeding in the tavern, that bumped me up a couple of notches. But to come in here and blow through everything I have to get this or to get her, I'm going to come out way negative here. Even if it helps me fuse Harvest Jack, I think ultimately you come out with a negative, right? Whereas something like the Arena Assault, and maybe if you're really trying to finish it, you're going to have to do some refills, but I can come in and casually farm Arena the way I always farm Arena and get some nice extra stuff. I get a little bit of silver, I get a little bit of energy, I get a tome. How much longer we got? 4 days. I'll probably at least get this Ancient Shard and some more energy, and I'm not really going to go after it. I'm just going to farm Arena the way I always farm it. I generally go through about 2 full sets of tokens a day farming Arena, and that's what I accumulate or already have over the day, right? So this is an event that, yeah, I'll participate in, but again, I'm not going to come in and really go after. So just be picky. Sometimes they put out Summon Rush events that aren't tied to anything. You don't have to use your shards because there's a summon event, right? You can wait till there's a fusion and you know they're going to do a summon event then, maybe. You can wait on double raids. You can wait till they put out a summon event that has some rewards in it that you really want or that you think you can achieve. You know, over time, the hope is that they'll tweak these events a little bit and make them a little more reasonable. So, you know, you don't just understand you don't have to participate to the full extent in every event that comes out. You're not obligated in any way to spend your resources on these events. And the less that you do it, the more they'll start to get the message that, hey, maybe these events aren't good enough. If players are you know, opting out of them to play the game. So something to keep in mind. And then last but not least, just kind of usage of energy, how you could bounce around and kind of do some things that would be efficient. For example, maybe take one of your full energy refills that you have every day and just do a small handful of runs in the Arcane Keep, you know, 3 to 5, just a couple every day, and then use the rest of that energy refill farming whatever potion dungeon is open. And even when you don't necessarily need them, this way, when a time comes that you do need them, you will have them. A great example of this is when a fusion event comes out. One of the really big things is potion farming. You need a ton of potions to get through a fusion event, right? You've got all the rares, you've got to fully ascend, then you've got to do the epics, and then of course you're going to need the arcane potions. So the more of a safety net you keep in stock, the easier it's going to be for you to burn through the event when it's time to start ascending all these champs. So I would say use a few runs daily in our keep, and you may think like 3 or 4 runs a day. That's nothing. That's pointless. But throughout the course of a week, that's going to add up to quite a few runs, right? So just get a couple of arcane potions every day, and then use the rest of whatever that energy refill is on whatever potion dungeon is open for the day. And then one more thing is level up. Just kind of keep a balance of leveling up a little bit of food and keep a little bit of food on stock. I tend to like to keep a set of 6-star food on hand that I don't touch, so that if there's a situation where there's someone that I just got a 6-star right now, if I pull a new legendary or something, I can do it. Now sometimes I end up wanting to 6-star a few more champs, and I do tap into that food, but I like to keep sets of food on hand, again, so that I have it for things like fusion events and stuff like that. So, you know, one of the energy refills may be on the potions, and then you know, maybe another one of the energy refills on leveling up food, and then another one of the energy refills on your dungeons, farming gear and stuff like that. And then just kind of let everything build up, so that when fusion events drop or when other events drop, you've got some stuff at your disposal. You're not starting from complete scratch every time, because even though this event was, I think it was free to play friendly, again, barring some bad luck, there are some people that spent just way too much energy trying to get these champs from the dungeons. But beyond that, I think it was done pretty well. A couple tweaks could be made. But I also think that if you're a free-to-play player who just burns through everything at the second they get it, you probably didn't have much of a shot. You know what I mean? So some efficiency tweaks could help you out quite a bit there. So just some stuff to keep in mind moving forward. Hopefully this wasn't too long or rambling. Hopefully some of you got some out of it. I know this wasn't really for my seasoned players. This was more for my viewers that are a little bit newer and maybe are just wondering. Maybe it never even occurred to you that things like this would matter. Maybe you just come in and think that you just spend what you get, and that's the way you play the game, and that's what it is. And you know, I can relate. When I was new, like I said, I wasn't going to spend my gems on energy. What do you? I want to summon. The game's Summoner's War. I'm supposed to summon and get monsters. What do you mean energy refills? So, this is some stuff I've picked up over the years, and yeah, hopefully it was helpful. So thank you guys for watching. If anybody else has anything that they do, if you're free to play and you've got some tips that you implement that are working out for you, or maybe even if you're not free to play, if you have some advice for the free to play crowd on how to be more efficient and how to set themselves up for success in the future, of course, as I always say, more information is better. So thank you guys for watching. Hope it was helpful, and I'll see you next time.